Hello friends, very warm welcome to Coding Techniques again. Today I'm going to show you the profile screen UI which you can use anywhere in any application. Just you need to change few steps and you are good to go. So let's get started with today's video. Now this is a design that I'm going to build, and in this particular design I'm using a tab screen also just to fill up the whole stuff. Otherwise it was looking quite empty, so you will have this tab screen here, and then this is the profile screen where you can change this particular stuff, and the upper part you can just keep it as it is. All right, this is how you can design your profile screen for any application you want. Okay, now let's get started. So I have created a new application which is a standalone one once again, and here I have cleared up everything into the home page and replaced this with home instead of blank, but I'm not going to use that. Why? Like I told you, I'm using the tabs one, so I can design the tabs one later on also, because tabs one was not the major part of it. The major part is this profile screen UI. And in order to design the profile screen, if you keep it in the tabs one, then it will look much better. So let's start with designing the profile screen at first, or the tab screen. Which one do you prefer? Well, I would say let's design the profile screen at first, and then we will append the tabs part there. Okay. So I'm going to remove this home screen. Let me just do that, delete this particular part. Okay, I don't want that. Let me just get rid of this particular stuff also. And I'm going to create another page here. So let me just create it, Ionic G page, which I'll name it as profile. Okay, let's create that. This is created here. I'll change the name to account, because actually it's an account page where we have the profile screen mostly. So let's have this account here. Fine, don't worry, we'll change it later on. So now you can see we have the profile page up and ready, correct? Okay, now first of all I would like to show you that I have changed the variable.scss styling designs here. For my primary color I have the blackish color here. Okay, then for the secondary color I have the orange type of a color. Then for tertiary I haven't changed. I have changed the light color. Yes, this is the light color, light orange. And I think the medium color also I have changed. Okay, so these are the color which are changed, and you can apply the same to the dark mode also if you want to, but I have not done that so far. Okay, and few more stuff I have it here. In the assets one I have created an image folder, imgs folder, where I have this profile pic, which you can just get it from the internet, any other pic you want. I have just taken this particular pic here. I'll just cut this and start working with this particular part now, where I'm going to design the profile screen. Let's go there, where I will just remove all the stuff at once. I don't need any header here, so I'll just remove it. Not even here also. The and content should be full screen, which we already have. And here I'll change the color to be of light color. Background, not exactly light. Let me pass medium here. That's gonna be better. All right, we have the medium color here, and within this I'm going to start with the card one, because at first, let me just show you, I will proceed with this particular card here, which is having the black screen one. Let's design that at first. So let me have an iron card here, to which I have just given a class of profile content, because I will be using another iron card, so I need to differentiate between the two. Now to this particular class I'm going to work with in the SCSS here, where I'll pass this particular design, in which I'm just changing the background color to be the blackish color, and a border radius of 25 pixel is nice according to me, and a border padding bottom of 18 VH, because I want a lot of padding bottom. That is why you see some padding without having some stuff within that. Okay, so that is what I'll be doing here. And within this card now I'm going to have a div where I'm going to work with for the image part. Now this particular div, I'll align everything within that to be at this center, and I'll give a class of image with which we can work with later on in the SCSS. And within this I'm going to use the iron avatar here, in which I'll pass the image. Okay, this is the image that is showing up, which is fine. Now I need to design it in order to see the actual screen or the actual image in this particular way, right? So not looking the same, correct? Let's design it out. I'll go to the SCSS here. I'll work with the image class, in which I will transform in Y direction to 5 VH. That will come down to 5 VH, which is coming up. And then I'm going to work with the iron avatar, all right, where I'm going to pass the height and width. So width of 25 VH and a height of also 25 VH will be fine according to me, right? It's looking bigger now. After that I'm going to give a border of 3 pixel of secondary color. That is what it is showing up, but I need some spacing between the two, right? As it is shown in this particular pic, you need to have some difference between the border and the actual image, right? How you can do that? Well, there is only a simple way to do that, is to give a padding there. So after this, I'm going to pass padding of like 0.8 VH will be fine. And this is showing up. So you have the background color that is black showing up here, which is in fact great. Okay. So our Ion avatar is looking nice. We have achieved it. Now, the second content which I need to work with is the name and some designation, or whatever you want, you can give it there. I'm just passing the designation there, or this work, whatever they work on, and you can do whatever you like. You can pass address, you can do anything based on the application that you are working with. Okay. But before doing that, I'll pass some margin bottom also. So let me pass a margin bottom of 6 VH or 5 VH, whatever you want. You can just pass it. And then I'll go to the HTML to work with that particular stuff. And that's going to be a simple Ion item. This is how it will be done. So I'm passing an Ion item here where lines will be done. There will be no lines or border at the bottom that shows up. Then I've just passed a class so that we can work with that. And then within that, I have an Ion label which I have centered. All the text will be centered up here, where I have the Ion text whose color I have given a secondary. This is Emily Jules, or whatever name you want. You can just give it. I can't give my name, so let me pass Dia Dimri. Any name, whatever you want, you can just pass it out. All right. So I've just passed any name, and I've used a p tag to just go to the next line and have another text there, which is just a designation. You can pass whatever you want. Okay. So this is how you can design it up, and nothing else I have done here, but I need to do something in the SCSS. So that is why I have just passed a class name here. And you can directly work with the Ion item, but I think if we need some other Ion item, then it will be a clash. So I don't want that. That is why I'm just passing the classes here. And item whose class name is profile, where I'm going to pass at first the background to be transparent. Okay, and it's gonna be dash background because we have the custom CSS property of Ion item which is already present. That is why nicely correct. Now the next thing is pretty simple. We need to design the font size and font weight basically for our Ion label and p tag. So I'm just going to pass it up. I hope you really know that, and we can work ahead with other stuffs now. So Ion label, I have passed a font size of 1.5 rem because we need it bigger, and a font weight of 600. Okay, and for the p tag, 1 rem, little smaller, than font weight bold, but I want some margin top also. That is why I've given 10 pixels here. I hope you understand why there is a space between the two. That is why. So up till here we have achieved it. So till here everything is good. I've just changed the name here, whatever you want. Now we need to design this particular stuff here, right? Let's work on that then. So this will be another card in which we have 2 rows where we have 3 columns each. Let's design that. And I'm going to make this dynamic, so it will be pretty interesting to work with. And I'm using Angular 17 here, so definitely you will see all the latest stuff here. Nothing which is available in Angular 16 or something like that, which we have already seen so far. But this is going to be something new, like I'll be using @4 and all other stuff here. Okay, now let's go to the HTML and work with another Ion card here, which I'm just going to design, and I've given a class name of options here. Okay, because this will be your options which you can design it dynamically. Okay, now in this profile you are not looking at any problem here, because what we actually have when we create a new page, we have Ionic module, common module and forms module to be available by default. But if you don't want all this stuff, you can simply pass one by one for the standalone one. But it's better to use Ionic module for the time being, otherwise you have to pass a lot of stuff which I have shown you in the earlier videos of mine. So I don't want the forms module here, so I'll just remove it. Okay, whatever you don't need, don't use. And then in fact ng on init also I don't want. If you want directly you can use it. You don't want this implements one. Let me just show you. I'll just pass a console log here. Let's say profile ng on init. All right. Now I'll check the console log here. You are just looking at ng on init is already available. You don't need to do anything. Let me remove this also and I'll show you once again. It will get loaded. Just check this out. It is again showing up. So this is what is happening here. You don't need the on init to be imported. But yeah, I'm not saying if sometimes you need, definitely you need to work on that, but this is the latest stuff which I have just checked, and that is why I thought of sharing with you all. Okay, now I'll have an array here. Always check this out. If it is not working, definitely you pass implements the on init interface one. Okay, so this will be my array in which I'm going to pass few stuff, which I'll do it in ng on init here. But if you are still unsure, you can simply pass, let me just do it. It was there on earlier only. I just removed it. So let's have it to be on the safe side, because if you're using some code later on where it is removed or it is like not in use, I don't want any complications. That is why let's have this stuff here for the time being. Okay. And now I'll define an array here for options where the title will be defined, or for all of them, whichever I want. Then the icons for them, what the icons I'm going to use, then the color, which color I'm going to use, and somewhere or the other I have the background color also, which I'm just going to pass dynamically, since in one of those options for the logout one, I have changed the background color, which you can see, and I want all the stuff to be dynamic. That is how I'm doing it. Okay, so let's have this stuff here. And another important thing is to work with the icons here. So the icons, we have to design it, we have to define it in our constructor or ng on it, wherever you want. I'll do it in the constructor here. Add icons, it will be imported, okay, from ion icons, and here I'm going to pass all the icons, okay, one by one, whichever I need here. Basically all these icons I need here, so I need to pass that. All right, so these are the icons which I have passed here. Let's import it one by one. Okay, first import is not coming up, so you can simply pass import person outline from ion icons / icon, and your error will go away. Similarly for the other ones, you just update it, because once it is done, you can simply get all the suggestions. All right, that is how it is working for this as of now, and all of them are imported and you are good to go. Just look at, okay, all the errors are gone, and we have done it in the constructor. Now in the HTML, we can simply work with that. Now the important challenge is how to make this dynamic part, because I'll be using two rows, not like a single column and looping it up. I'll loop the column also, but only twice in a row. So let me just show you. Because in the design, we have to achieve this particular border also. In order to design this border part and to have proper spacing here, we need to do that stuff. So in order to achieve that, let me just show you how exactly I'm going to proceed with that. So in this particular ion card, I will be having a for loop in this particular way, where row of get row function. So I'll be using a function and track by the index one, which we directly get it. So you can get, let me just show you here in this way. $index is for index. You can use $even, $odd, and many more stuff is also there directly. Now for this particular function, what exactly I'm going to do, I'm going to divide that particular array into a certain stuff where I'm going to slice it 3 in one row. Okay, so let me just show you how exactly I'm going to do that in the TypeScript file, which is actually pretty simple here. I'm using the getRow function, in which I've just passed an array constant called rows, and I'm looping it up as much as the length of the options is, and then passing it into the rows one by one by slicing 3 items from that particular options length, means options array. Okay, that is how it is being done, and finally returning the whole row. So what it will do is, it will have one row where I'll have 3 items, and then second row where I will have another 3 items. That is how it is being done. All right, now in the HTML, I have to simply work with the other stuff of the design part. So I'll be having an iron row where I'll just pass some margin, iron margin by default. Okay, this is how it is showing up. Now within this, I'm going to loop it up again for the column part, where I'll loop the item of row. So this particular row, I'm now going to loop it up and track again by the index. So you can not change the name of the index. If I pass 1, it's going to give me an error. So it will track this particular stuff for the index part. So you have to be very careful when you're using the looping twice or nested loop we are using for this index part. Now within this particular for loop, the second for loop, I'm going to have an iron column of size 4, and I'm going to center up everything here in this particular way. Within this column, I will have an iron label in which I'm going to pass the icon and the name, or the title, I would say. Now for the title, I'm simply going to use a p tag, and it will show up in this particular way. For the icon, I'm going to use an iron avatar once again. So this is going to be pretty interesting, because this iron avatar, lot of things will be dynamic here, just like the background, okay, of the iron avatar. Just check this out. I've just passed the background color in this particular way. If it is not present, then I will have the light color. Okay, so this is how it is being done because I am taking it in this particular way. Just check this out. I'm using styles.background just to pass the background color, where I'm just passing this particular string and appending it with the background which we have in the TypeScript here, where only in one place we have the background color. Otherwise we don't have. That is why I'm just giving an OR symbol here to denote the default color which I want everywhere, which is the light color one, where we have the light orange color by default in our variables.scss, and closing up this string. So this whole string will result in this particular way which we are getting just now, where we have the icon within that, in which the icon that we have in our array one will be passed item.icon. And in fact the item color also, which is the color for the icon one, will be passed here. That is mostly the primary color, that is the dark color, black color one. Alright, so this thing I hope you have understood. Now one thing is left, the border one, and all other stuff we will work with it later on. But first of all, let's do something for designing it up to center everything. Right now I need to work with this particular class here, so let's go to our SCSS and work with that. So this will be my class, in which at first I'll change the background color and in fact the border radius also. Okay, just look at this, it's looking nice. So secondary color is my background color now. Now after this, I'm going to work with the iron row here, in which, because in this particular stuff, I need to work with the iron row in order to pass few stuff. Let's work with that in our SCSS now. Now here, I'll just pass some padding bottom, just to have some padding here. Alright, bottom and bottom part. After that, let's jump to the iron column part, because you must be very eager to center it up, right? I'll work with the iron label here, where I'll pass tag send align to be at the WebKit center. Otherwise it was not getting centered up. I have just tested that by just going to this particular stuff here. I was just checking this thing in this particular way. Click on it, okay, and you can try it in this particular way by tracking it down in the styles one to center this particular stuff here, right? In the iron label I have sent this thing. If I don't do that, it's not working, and if I pass simply center also, still it is not working. That is why this particular stuff is needed. I hope you are getting it right. Now I need to work with the iron avatar here. So this is the design which I need to pass for the iron avatar to look as I like. I will center it up in this particular way at first, all the content within that means the iron icon at first, and then I'll give a height and width of 4 VH. After that, the background color I'll change it to light color one. Alright, because it will look nice now, because the icon color is the dark one mostly, and if border radius of 50% is great. So this is what I've done. Now it is looking nice. Alright, and everything is centered up pretty nicely. Still, it is far away from the design that we see here, right? So let's work on that. Now the iron icon within the iron avatar, I'll pass a font size of 1.3 RE, a little bigger. Now the final thing is the P tag, okay, which is outside of this iron avatar, of course. So here within the iron label, I'm going to work with the P tag, where I'll pass some margin top, because there should be some spacing between the two. If you want more spacing, definitely you can pass, I think 5 VH. You can just try it up. Sorry, 5 pixels. VH will be much bigger. I don't want that much. But I think 5 pixel is much better, I think. So I'll keep the 5 pixel one. And font size of 0.8 REM. I have passed little smaller, and font weight of 450. But let's try with 500 how it looks like. And what about 0.85? I think this is also fine, right? So I'll just keep this stuff. Okay, so you just need to try these things and achieve. If you're getting the same result, then keep that. Now in this particular design, we are just missing the border, right? Border bottom here, for which we need to do something dynamically, and also some margin top or padding top I need to give, because there is some padding at the bottom which is bigger than the one at the top. So for doing that, I need to do something dynamically. Let's achieve that. So what I'll do here is, at the bottom at first, I will create two classes. One is for the border bottom and the other one is for the padding top. So padding top of 1.5 VH I need here, which I'll give dynamically. I'll call this class, and this particular border bottom I'll call, which will have the light color border bottom. Okay, where I'll have this particular line here, which is light color one. Now, in order to call this dynamically, what I'll do, I will be using ng class here, for which you need the common module to be imported, which we have already done in our TypeScript, which you have already seen, which was there by default as we have created a new file. If you're not creating a new file and you're working with the home page, definitely you need this common module to be imported. Okay. Remember that. Now, what I'll do here is I need to work with the iron row here. And in the iron row, let's break it down, okay? And let me format the document just to look everything much better now, right? Everything is the same. Now here what I'll do for the iron row, I'll work with the ng class here, in which I'll pass this braces and the class name will be border bottom, which will show up only if the condition is satisfied, and that condition will be if index plus 1 into 3, if it is less than the length of the options 1, then only it will show up. That means, say like at first the index will be 0 for the first part, and you're adding it with 1, okay? So it becomes 1, and you're multiplying with 3 because we have 3 items in a row, right? So it becomes 3, which is less than the length. As of now, we have 6 as the options length. That means 6 items in a row. So for the second iteration, the value of index will be 1, and 1 plus 1 will be 2, multiplied by 3 will be 6. So it won't be less than 6, right? Which is the length of the options 1. So the second one condition will not be not satisfied, and we will have the border only in the first position. Say like instead of the items length of 6, we have 9. Alright, so how many times it's going to loop? It will loop twice. How? For the first time, we have the value of index plus 1 will be 1. Into 3 will be 3, which is less than 9. Secondly, index value will be 1. 1 plus 1 will be 2. Into 3 will be 6, which will also be less than 9. And for the third part, it's going to be 9, which is equals to 9. So it is not getting satisfied. That means we will have the border only in 2 places, means in 2 rows. That is how I have decided it, because we are using 3 items in a row. That is very much important. That is why this number 3 is coming up. And whenever you are working with the index, definitely if you want to work with that, you need to add 1 here so that it becomes proper, because the first value we need that. All right. So I hope you're getting the logic. It's not that hard. So as you can see, the border bottom is showing up. Now similarly, I need one more thing here. So let me just break it down. I'll pass a comma and break it here to work with the next class. That's gonna be padding top, all right, which will occur only for the first row, right? Because there only we have the top padding. So where index equals to 0, only there we need to pass it. That's how it is prepared now, right? So now the design is ready. What is left? Let me just check it out. Design is ready, but it is not aligned properly. That's what is left. Otherwise, this design is ready as of now. Okay, so how to do that? For doing that, I need to play with the CSS here. Then only we will be able to achieve the same with the card one. Let's try that. I'll have position to be absolute. Okay, so it will not have relative position. It will be, we'll work with it anywhere we want. And the width of, let's say it takes 80% of the size. All right, and margin will be auto, correct? So this is what I have done so far. Then the next step is that top will be 0. Okay, so it will be appearing at the top, as you can just check it out. Then I'm going to transform in Y direction, translate in Y direction. How much I need? Let's say 50 VH will be fine, I think. No, it's a little bit more. Let's keep it 48. I think it is fine because I'm just trying to match the border with this particular line here, right? Then also translate in X direction to minus 50%, okay? And I need to pass from left, it will go up to 50%. Okay, that's how we center it up. I hope you're getting it, how exactly we are centering it up. So now this is ready. As you just look at this particular design and this design, it's almost the same, right? Except few stuff, which because I have changed it here. All right, so we have achieved the same stuff. And one more thing I think I should apply it, which is letter spacing in our iron label of 0.5 pixel. Okay, yeah, now it will look better. Okay, I think this a bit more, 0.3 pixels, because this S is coming at the bottom. So I think it's better not to apply this. If you want, you can do it. All right, so now the next stuff is to work with the tabs one. Now how to work with that? Let me create a tab screen. For that, I'll create a page, which I'll name it as tabs. All right, let me just check this out. This is the tabs one, and within this particular one, I don't have the routes file, so let's create one file called tabs.route.ts file, and I'm going to move this particular folder within the tabs one. All right, let's move it. Great. Yes, update all the exports and everything, whatever is necessary. Still we have the same stuff, that's fine. Now I'll go to the app.route.ts file and I need to like cut this and pass it in the routes one, which I'll just do it later on. Let me just have it here for the time being in a commented manner. Okay, and by default it will go to the tabs one, and in the tabs one I need to define the routes one at first, tabs routes, then only we can work with the load children. So load children and load component are two stuff. If you directly want to load the component here, you can just do that in this particular way. But if you want to load the children, that means another route, you want to pass it here where you have the other routes, then you need to work with the load children here, which I'm just going to do that. So in the tabs route, tabs.route.ts file, I'll simply pass this particular stuff and let's import it to have our route. Import is suggestion is not coming up. If that's the case, let me pass it directly here. All right, error is gone and you can simply work with that. Now I'll have here the path, which is empty path, and by default it's going to like call the component tabs page one. All right, and I'll have some children here to work with the tabs one. You need this, I've shown you many times, in which I'm just going to call the account one, where we have the load component, where is the profile screen, correct? And by default also /tab/account one will be called, because the profile name I've just changed it to account here. All right, that is what I have done. So it is working nicely here. That's great. Means this part is ready. We need to work with the app.routes.ts file, where I'll just remove it, not needed. And here I'm just going to change it to load children. This one will be tabs.routes file, right? The error is gone, and this will be route from this particular location. Okay, no error is available here. That's great. Now I need to simply work with the tabs page.html part, because I don't want all this thing here. I'll remove it and we'll have the stuff for the tabs one. So this will be my tab screens, where I have all this stuff here, correct? In which I have the wish list, home, then the chat and account. And here the HUD and okay, all right. The HUD and profile one is showing up because we have already called that. That means if I am calling it once, it is working. So what I'll do here is, if I just pass this particular stuff, I'll just cut it from here. Okay, now nothing is showing up. Let me just pass it in the app.component.ts file in the constructor one. Let me just do it here, and I'll just pass all the imports also, which is this particular file. I'll just cut this. Okay, I'll cut the two things which I need. Let me cut this too and pass it in the app.component.ts file. Okay, all right, still it is coming up. That means it will work if I pass all the icons here, so we don't need to pass it separately. That's a good stuff which I've just learned. I didn't try it earlier. Okay, so that's great. That's actually great. Now which all I need the home one. So home outline. All right, it's coming up. Great. Let's go to our tabs page and check it out. Home outline, and the last one is this particular one. Let's copy it up and go to the app.component.ts file and simply pass it here. Just remove these dashes and have the capital letter. Then you can import it and you are good to go. All right, so we have all the icons here. Now I'm not satisfied because I need to design a little bit more with our tabs one. So I'll just have the same design which we did for the job finder application. If you do not know, don't need to worry. It's pretty simple that I'm going to work with in the SCSS here at first of the tabs one. Okay, so basically let me just paste it, then I'll explain you. I'm just changing the background color. Let's do it one by one. I'm just changing at first the background color to be the primary one. After that, I'm just giving a border top left radius, which is affecting this particular stuff. Then border top right one, which will affect this particular stuff here. Then the padding top, I'm just passing it up. Just check this out. It's getting bigger. The tab bar, and then padding bottom also I need. Okay, this is also coming up. Then for the tab button, what am I doing? Which is actually each button that we have here. The color that is not selected, okay, all the buttons will have the medium color by default, right? This is what it is showing up, and the one that is selected will have the light color. But actually I don't need the light color here. I can have the secondary color, okay, which will look great, right? Yeah, the secondary color is looking nice. Light color is much more lighter, which I don't want. Then the icon size, which we have here, I'll change it to 1.3 RE, which is a little smaller in the looks that we have here, which is looking great, I think. So this is how I've designed it up. Now I'll just go to the tabs page TypeScript file which I need to work with. So I don't need actually forms module. All right, what else you don't need? I don't think I need the common module also. Well, if you don't want to use Ionic module, you can simply pass the ones that you are using it here. Okay, so that's completely up to you how you want to do that. I'll just skip this one for the time being. Otherwise I could have shown you. I've shown you with the Job Finder application. You can simply check it out. You can check the I button also by clicking on that. You will go to Job Finder application and I don't think I need to do anything here. Everything is done. All right, so if you don't want to use this ng on in, you can simply remove it. Not in use here as of now, so I'll just remove it. Whatever you don't want, simply remove it. That's it. And instead of Ionic module, directly you can pass the other stuffs like I said. If you want, I can pass it in the commented way. Let me just show you. I'll just comment this and have this particular stuff here. So import it one by one. Well, since the suggestion is not coming up, so let me just do it directly. These are the imports from @ionic/angular/standalone one. That is how you do it and you are good to go. All right, so our application is ready. I hope you like this particular video. If you want to learn more, you can just find the Job Finder application that is available here. And if you want to check more stuff about what's new in Angular 17, because this is also based on Angular 17, so you can just check what's new in Angular 17. Go and check all these videos right now. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy, and goodbye.